All right, so my name's Kayla.
That don't matter. That don't matter. Come sign this, baby girl.
Sit back, relax, enjoy the clips. Unfiltered ministries. Welcome to Unfiltered Ministries. Beautiful family sharing the word. Forget the lies, forget what you heard. We spread the truth to set you free. Kingdom family, you and me.
Not gonna lie, when you encounter a man of God, it's like, dang, I see why the people in the church be getting married in 3 months. Like, don't let him start praying. It is the biggest turn on. It's just like, not you got a relationship with the Lord. Then, if he starts speaking life into you, God, I finally see the light. And don't pray about something and then while you talking to him, he mentions what you only talk to God about. Because now I want to give you babies. Like, now I just want to have all your kids. It just shows that, like, God's way of doing things is just so much better. Because when you have a godly relationship, godly encounters within your relationship, it makes you see how the things that you were impressed by in the world really wasn't talking about nothing. Like, that really wasn't talking about nothing. This is next up. It's like, not the Holy Spirit telling you my business so that you can love me properly. What? That type of love is, because it's just like, now I don't even have to ask, because God is going to tell you so that you can know the man that you need to be in order to be the man that you need to be for me. Not God is changing your mind and changing your ways so that you could be a better steward of my heart. Like, not that type of love. Like, that's next level love.
I had somebody ask me, like, if me and you believe differently, like, could we still be together? I said, absolutely not. If Jesus ain't in it, I ain't with it. I can't be in a house that's divided. I may pray over my food. You may not pray over your food. I might teach my son to pray. You might not teach your kids to pray. It's certain things that will have us unequal if you believe one way and I believe another. I believe in Jesus Christ. If you don't believe in Jesus Christ, romantically, there's nothing there. Now, I have plenty of friends that don't believe how I believe, and that's okay. They don't have to believe how I believe. I believe what I believe, but for me to spend the rest of my life with somebody, date somebody, whatever it is, any romantic relationship, she got to believe in Jesus Christ too. If she don't believe in Jesus Christ too, I can't do nothing with it. Stand on what y'all believe. I know it might be hard because that might be your type. But if Jesus Christ is not first in your life, then you're not my type. If you're not seeking a relationship with Jesus Christ, then you're not my type. I ain't say you got to be perfect, because I'm far from it. But you got to have Jesus Christ. And if he ain't in it, then I ain't with it.
It's better married. It is better married. Let me cook. If your goal is spiritual oneness with your spouse, if your goal is to have God as a foundation of your marriage, it's better married. Intimacy is just not some empty act. It is an exchange. It is a recharging. It is a replenishing. It is life being given back to you. Like, disagreements is better married, because it's an opportunity to hear your person. It's an opportunity to find out where the enemy is trying to work. It's an opportunity to find new ways to submit to God. Everything is better married. You not only have a spouse, but you have a best friend. Like, my husband was my husband, but over the last 2.5 years, my husband has truly become my best friend. Like, I can remember when something would happen in my life, or some inconvenience, the first person I would call would be my mom. Now that person I call is my husband. And then I call my mom after. And that may not seem like a huge cultural shift to somebody, but anybody that knows me knows that my mom and I were joined at the hip. So when that exchange took place, our marriage changed. And I understand that everything is better in marriage. Everything is better in a godly marriage. And it is my goal to have spiritual oneness with my husband, to follow my husband as he follows God. And that just makes it all the more better. So I say again, it's better in marriage. Y'all have a good day.
And I live in a generation that stopped believing in marriage. And it's really sad. Because me, I want to get married. I want to be with one woman for the rest of my life. I don't care to be wanted by many. I care to be loved and known by one. I want to serve God with you. I want to build something. I want to honor God through our marriage. I want to honor God through our covenant. I want to love you like Christ loved you. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and the devil kind of sucked it dry. Broken relationships, situationships, traumas and pains, and all type of stuff in the dating field. The enemy does that by design because he knows what God can make out of a marriage. The Bible says, if two or more gather together in my name, there I am in the midst. There's power in numbers. Bring back the beauty of marriage, man. Building something with somebody, growing old with somebody, loving somebody.
When a relationship is from God, there will be signs. I'm going to back it up with scripture, and then I'm going to chat with you, okay? John 14:27 says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let your heart not be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Okay? So one of the signs that a relationship is of God is if there is peace. If you are having constant arguments, constant resistance, constant negativity, that is not of God, and that is probably a sign God is trying to tell you that person's not for you. Okay? By no means am I going to say the relationship is going to be perfect, because no one on this earth is perfect. But in a healthy relationship, you'll be able to compromise, come to a common ground, and come to a conclusion. Okay? In Matthew 7:16 through 20, God tells us that you will be able to tell who someone is by their fruits. Okay? It says, ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistle? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. Okay? And the fruits that they're talking about can be described in Galatians 5:22, where it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Okay? So just how I mentioned that peace is a sign that the relationship is from God, if the person has all of these characteristics or exhibits these types of characteristics, that means they are a man or woman of God, because they understand what it means to love and live like Jesus. Okay? Some of these characteristics include peace, but they also include grace. So you have to have that balance, that compromise, that understanding. Okay? And one last characteristic to look out for to see if the relationship is of God is to see if they are guiding you towards Jesus or if they are pulling you away. Okay? 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. So the person you're with should be in their walk with Jesus as well, and should be pushing you towards him, should be including him in conversations, should be loving and living like Jesus. They are doing things to lead you to sin or pulling you in the other direction or tearing you down. That is not a person for you. With all of this being said, I'm not saying if they don't have these characteristics that they're Satan or they're evil or they're not of God, but they may not be walking with God, and that's what matters. Just because they may not be walking with God right now doesn't mean that they won't. Everything happens in God's timing, and sometimes you guys need to separate so God can work on you guys individually. He may not want to work on you guys as a unit. He may need you guys to separate so he can build you up individually. And if it's in God's will, you guys will come back together. So just pray on it, ask God to guide your feet, and ask God to intercede on your relationship. Okay?
When you're courting, you're not a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So I know the question you asked then, what am I? And that's the thing, is there's no title. The world wants titles. God wants intentionality. Now, if you're being courted by the wrong person, they could use it and say, hey, well, we don't have a title. right? I don't know what we are, because they are so focused on titles. So you have to pull yourself away from the title part and pull yourself back into being intentional. Being a boyfriend or a girlfriend often implies that this is a recreational or experimental relationship. Courting is the exact opposite. Courtship says, I'm prayerfully pursuing you as a potential spouse. Keyword spouse. It's not experimenting. This means that you have gone into prayer about this person. Now, this is not to put down anybody who loves God and are still a boyfriend or a girlfriend. This is not the goal for this video. But I was once a boyfriend, right? And I said I never wanted to go back to that version of myself where I wasn't leading intentionally, where my flesh was the ultimate guider of my decision. But in courtship, God guides everything. And the woman whom you are courting also knows that. You're in courtship and you find yourself sexually attracted to the woman or the man of God that you are with. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing. I'm happy. But I do need you to not act on those feelings, but I need you to submit those feelings to Christ. Now, here's how you do it. First, you're going to thank God for sending this man or this woman. Thank you. And I'm speaking to the people who are in courting. I'm not speaking to everybody that's just, oh, I'm saying, no. You're in courtship and you're with a man and got a woman of God. This is what I need you to do. Thank him for sending this man or this woman to you. And then say, God, I want you to take these desires away. I'm submitting these desires to you, God. Actually, I'm submitting this man or this woman to you as well. I don't want them taken away, but I want these desires to be taken away and to be given back once covenant happens. But do your best. Do your biblical best. Do your spiritual best to not act on those desires. Take it from me. Okay? Submit those desires to Christ and everything else will be given unto you. Submit them. You got this, friend.
I love God because y'all know how in Proverbs, when he's speaking about wisdom and he calls wisdom a she, y'all let that go over y'all's head. Women, our wisdom is a woman. We are complex creatures, like creatures of details. You know what I'm saying? We don't see the world the way that men see the world. Saying all this to say, y'all have to start listening to your women. I know, men, you don't want to hear it, but I got something for your side too. Women, you need to learn how to speak to your man. Everything that God sent for good, the enemy tries to corrupt it and make it evil. So now that's why people are getting divorced, because all she did was nag all the time. That was just her details. It just got corrupted. The way she said it, it got corrupted. She allowed the things of the past that made her mad in one season, now it's corrupting her wisdom, because she means well and it's the right thing, but the way you said it, sis. Because men, on the other hand, while they're might not be as complex, still very complex creatures, they're more simple. They need basic things like respect. You can't expect him to be the man that you want him to be and you don't even talk to him like that. We got to learn how to balance each other out. We got to learn how to talk to each other, and we also got to learn how to receive from one another.
After almost 7 good months, I'm about to marry this girl. I'm so serious. I probably shouldn't have said that while she was listening. She's on FaceTime right now. Look at her looking like she can hear me. Some people may say that's moving too fast. That's you're rushing it. Honestly, if God ordained it, it's not. Now let me give you some advice about your relationship with God and with your partner. Guidance. This is how your relationship with God will lead you into a relationship with your. You have to allow God to guide you into this. How do we do so? By staying true and walking on the path that God has made for you, because your partner is on that path. The thing about that is, when your partner is also walking in their ministry and you're walking in your ministry, it will benefit the both of you, because when you meet, your ministries won't collide together and make it hard for y'all to be with each other, but they will connect, and hers will complement yours and yours will complement hers, and they will just connect. And that's how you know, hey, this is sent from God, because everything is just falling so beautifully. But tip number 2, do not allow your emotions to take the spot of God's voice. I can't preach this enough. There are multiple voices that go on in your head. You have the enemy, you have God, and you also have yourself. We got a scenery change. I'm sorry. It's just the next day. But like I was saying, you have God, you have the influence of the enemy, and you also have yourself. Remember, when you are in a relationship, you cannot allow your emotions to overtake you. You cannot allow that to happen, because one thing that will happen from that is you will make the worst decisions possible. Hold on. Things like yelling and arguing with your partner. Remember, you do not have to argue in a relationship. Arguments is just two people speaking loudly at one another and not to one another. Remember, when you are in a disagreement, run to God. Pray before y'all even have the talk about the disagreement. Always pray before you have the talk. Always remember, when you're having these talks with your partners, speak gently, but with truth, but gently. And then not only that, but when it's time for you listen to understand, not listen to have a response. Simply meaning, I'm not going to listen to my partner just to say something back to them. No, I'm going to listen to my partner so that I can understand how my partner feels. And if I need to make any adjustments, I will put my pride aside and say, okay, this is what my partner wants. I will make the adjustments. Because when you're in a serious committed relationship, you have to understand you don't just live for yourself. You live for them as well, because your actions have a very, very heavy impact on them. I think I walked into a spider web. But always remember that you live for God first. But when you're in a serious committed relationship, you have to live and serve for them as well. Also, take your time. God will not rush anything because he has the perfect timing. Because there's no need for him to rush anything. Always remember that.
One thing I've recently learned is that it doesn't matter if he agrees to your boundaries, if he does not have those same boundaries of his own. Because all that means is he's willing to do whatever you let him get away with. So for example, Christians, we should be committing ourselves to no sex before marriage. And if you say, my boundary is, I don't even want to kiss someone I'm not engaged to because kissing leads to other things. But that's not his boundary. He will probably agree to it. But let's say you slip up. Let's say something happens and y'all kiss or whatever. You're going to end up feeling like, man, like I shouldn't have done that. Meanwhile, he's A-okay with it. There's always going to be that disconnect. And he's always going to push your boundaries too. That's one thing I found. People that don't have their own boundaries will always push yours because they don't care about the same things you do. So yeah, just because he's saying it's okay for him to wait before marriage or wait for marriage for sex or whatever it is, whatever the boundary is, does not necessarily mean that he won't do it. And God forbid y'all slip up. They're not going to protect you from that sin. You need to do that for yourself and find someone that's doing that for themselves as well.
Create a list with all of the characteristics and attributes that you would want your ideal or future woman to have. We've all been told to do this, gentlemen. But I'm here to tell you, that's not an efficient framework. That's not effective. I'm not saying that is completely incorrect. But what I am telling you is that is very much so incomplete. So I want to give you the fix. Here it is. Be a man. This is courting clarity woman edition, whatever you want to consider it. Here it is. If you have a list, let's break this down from the root first, like we always do. If you have a list full of all these things, and a lady comes across your table and she don't have all of those things, you are looking to disqualify her because she doesn't have the things on your list. As if all of the things on your list are absolutely mandatory. They're not. Some things weigh more than others. So on your part, it would be wise if you split it up. That's why you do it like this. You have standards and then you have preferences. Your standards are the non-negotiable things. You're not willing to compensate and go back and forth on this. It is what it is. If you ain't got these, it's over. It's done. It ain't even no reason to even get anything started. Why would I sit here and waste my time? Why would you waste your time? It's no reason. Who cares? You can go find somebody else that's better for you because you're not a fit for me. Simple. Simple as that. You have standards. And then on this side, you have preferences. Your preferences are negotiable. They are not 100% mandatory. You don't have to have all of these things, but it would be nice if you had these things. That would be very, very nice. But if you have the standards, you are a solid candidate if you have the standards. Nobody has ever said to do that. Split it up. Because you over here, listen, if you have one list, you over here and you writing stuff, this stuff ain't even all that important to you. Everything on there ain't even that important to you. It just came to your mind while you was thinking about other stuff while writing the list. It ain't that important to you. That's why you split it up. You have standards and then you have preferences. Not only that, this is something that you should also take into consideration. People have always told us to write out a list of what we should expect from an ideal woman, but not once have we ever been informed to write a manual about ourselves to give to the woman so that she understands how to deal with us effectively. We taught to look and get clear on what it is that you're looking for, but we were never taught to create and curate something that you can give to the woman so that she understands and she has clarity concerning you. Isn't that interesting? So what you do is you create a manual concerning you. And I'm talking about go deep. I'm talking about go deep. And this is why you do that. If she reads the manual and it's within her character, her ethics, and her morals whatsoever to fulfill the things of this manual. What I mean, for example, is this. Your needs and their values have to flow like this. It has to go like that. That's intimate relationships, platonic relationships, whatever the case. It has to go like that for it to work. It has to. It's not going to work if it don't. Not long term. It's not. I guarantee you. It's not. So this is what ends up happening. Your needs and their values need to go like that. Because if I have a need to be heard, I need a woman who values being an active listener. If I have a need for a beautiful, fit woman, I need a woman who values going to the gym. That way I'm not putting unrealistic expectations upon very realistic people and getting let down for them not doing things that was never in their character to do in the first place. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you do that. That's why you do that. Your needs and their values have to go like that. But now back to this thing that we're talking about. So now if you have this manual, as long as it's within her ethics, her morals, so on and so forth to do it, if she doesn't do it, that means she didn't find the value in doing it. And since you don't find the value in doing what I took the time to write for you, clearly that says that you do not care as much as you claim you do. Now you have a sense of clarity as to how you need to move as a man concerning the longevity of said relationship. You consistently and consecutively failed to do X, Y, Z, even though you knew that this is what I needed. Why? What can somebody say to that? What can a lady say to that? You don't have to play this game of, oh, I'm going to pray. I feel like I need to stay. I feel like I need to go. You're not doing what you know for a fact that I needed. Why am I still going to stay here? What's the point? We done. It's over with. You're dead to me now. You feel me? It's just a different level of clarity. It's a different level of respect that you have for yourself. So you write that thing out. The experiences that you endured while you were younger, how that shaped you, how you deal with grief, ups, downs, happiness, your focuses, your 5-year plan. You ain't got to go all in depth with the 5-year plan, but just a general synopsis. You feel what I'm saying? And you go ahead and you give her clarity on you. If she care enough about you, she gonna read that stuff. Bro, she gonna fulfill everything on there if she wants you to stay around. If she want to stay in your life, bro, she gonna do everything in there. So take your list, split it up. You need standards and you need preferences. Then you need to write a manual on you. And when that right woman come around, bro, you give it to her. And that way she can know you like the back of her hand. She can hear you when you don't say a word. Because she knows you. Not because it was so much time that y'all spent together. No, it's because you took the time to teach her about you. It'll save you some headache and some heartache, gentlemen. I'm telling you. All right. So I hope this helps. I love y'all.
Ladies, if you want that beautiful romance, you want to do it God's way. Romancing God's way is the best and only way that is going to be your perfect, beautiful love story. So the phrase romance God's way has truly been ringing in my spirit recently. And I was like, okay, God, lead me, guide me on how you want me to talk to the ladies about this subject, because we love love, right? Okay, we love romance. We love the soft girl life, but there's a way to do it. And when it comes to the man that God has for you, okay, your husband, that awesome God-fearing man, you want to make sure that you do it God's way. So I was reading 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 4. And for some reason, this verse stood out to me so hard. Now, with this particular verse, it says that women, clothe yourselves with the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, for it is so precious to God. I kid y'all not, when I kept hearing that phrase, romance God's way, God led me to this scripture. I kept rereading this specific verse over and over again. Clothe yourselves with a gentle and quiet spirit, for it's so precious to God. If you want to do romance God's way, that comes with a quiet and gentle spirit. If you don't have a quiet and gentle spirit, and it's coming with a lot of rah-rah,
hooping and hollering, you can't sleep at night, you're checking phones, your trust is out the door, and you ain't getting what you know you deserve and then some, 10 times out of 10, that ain't the man for you. Here's what I love about God and how he literally gives us the playbook to pretty much every aspect of our entire life. And specifically with this subject, romance God's way, God is literally telling us women, hey, I want you in your femininity. The soft girl life, baby, that is God's way of life for any woman. Okay, all women living right now, we were made to live soft girl lives, right? And I was having a conversation with a few of my close family members and friends, and I was telling them, I said, I am truly not convinced that women were made to do as much work as men do, right? And what I mean by that is women are women, men are men. And when it comes to the man that God has for you, yes, you are his equal, but understand there's a way that looks like, right? In God's way. And sometimes a lot of women will chase, put all of this hard work and effort into a man who ain't even their husbands, right? You cooking, you cleaning, you doing all of this different stuff for a man that wouldn't even do half for you. You up here doing X, Y, and Z, you going all in for him and making him seem like he's the prize. But he don't even do that for you. Ladies, that's not the kind of romance that God has for you. Okay, you want to be with a man who literally praises you, who worships the ground that you walk on, treats you like a lady, keeps your spirit gentle and quiet. Anything that is not keeping your heart, okay, anything that's not keeping your spirit gentle and quiet, we got some questions that we need to address because that's not the romance that God has for you. If you keep reading and jump down to verse 7 in this chapter, it says that husbands give honor to your wives. Let me tell y'all something. The right man that God has for you, he's going to water that gentle and quiet spirit. Let me say that again because God gave me that this morning and y'all, I was like, oh, that was good, God. The right man for you is going to continuously water that quiet and gentle spirit about you. One thing that I have noticed, women who are genuinely with the right man, okay, that God has for them, they don't have to do a lot. It's like you literally just have to exist, be in your femininity, baby, be in your soft girl forever era. And let me tell you something, they don't got to do a lot because the man knows, oh, this is a queen. Okay, this is God's girl right here, okay? She's not to be played with. I will honor her. What does honoring you look like? Does he exemplify the fruits of God's Holy Spirit? Is he kind? Is he gentle? Is he loving? Okay, does he have self-control? Does he give you happiness? Literally, go read Galatians 5 and look at the fruits of the Spirit. I made videos about this, forever ago. And God revealed this to me a while back and he was like, hey, does he mirror me? I tell y'all all the time, a prayer of mine that I pray. Every time I pray about my husband, I'm like, God, I don't want him to be you, but I want him to be like you. I want him to mirror you. I want him to literally be a walking carrier of the fruits of your spirit because that kind of man is going to honor me. A lot of you women will settle. You will settle because you don't know the value that you hold. You're not allowing God to literally love on you. I have learned this, y'all, from God that, hey, love starts with me. If you don't let me love you first before I bring you your king, baby, you're not going to know what is of me and what's not of me. And I can tell y'all, I tell y'all all the time my testimony. I have, been in relationships before that were not the best. I didn't get treated right, had to deal with lying, cheating, a bunch of just crap. But I stayed and I stayed and I stayed until God had to finally slap some reality into me. He was like, girl, do you know who you are? The heart that I've given you alone. This is a gentle and quiet heart that's so precious to me, as Peter says in this verse. What you're dealing with doesn't reflect that. This man doesn't honor you. We try to make it rocket science, y'all. Love is not a hard thing. God is not a hard God. He tries to tell us, hey, y'all are my daughters, okay? I love you and I care about you so much. I want to literally love the heck out of you. Okay? God wants to give you a type of love that is literally unexplainable. It's indescribable. I know sometimes, we like to rave about Ruth and Boaz, and I love them so much. But honey, let's take a look at Queen Esther. In chapter 5, verse 3, where Esther went to the king, y'all, the king told her, Esther, my beautiful queen, what do you want? I will give you half of this kingdom if you want it. Some of y'all in some situationships, okay, and in some relationships and just in some whatever you want to call it, dealing with fools who won't even give their lives for you. And I tell y'all this all the time too. A friend asked me years ago, she said, Daya, how do you know when a man is truly in love with you? Like, how do you know? I said, well, he give his life for you. There's a reason why Jesus says in his word, husbands, love your wives as I love the church. Okay, I gave my life for her. A lot of you sleeping with men who wouldn't even die for you. And quite frankly, I'm the sister who is going to keep it real with you, okay? Because it's sad and very hard to watch, and you deserve so much more. Ezekiel chapter 16. This is all about basically how Jerusalem was being an unfaithful wife to God. But let me tell y'all something about the beauty in this passage, okay? Again, in Ezekiel chapter 16, God lists out basically how he had saved Jerusalem, dressed her all up in this beautiful fine jewelry, right? Married her, made a covenant with her, okay? Honored the vows, literally gave her any and everything from the inside out. And the reason I love even this scripture, I know sometimes we come on here and we like to rave about, oh, it ain't all about X, Y, and Z, and it's not all about the money. It ain't all about the fancy jewelry or anything. That's what even 1 Peter talks about. However, trust and know, even in this passage, this is God basically saying, baby, I can do something that you ain't never, ever dreamed of. Okay, your mind can only go but so far when it comes to love in comparison to what I really have for you. Ladies, do romance God's way. Be patient, gentle, and quiet. I promise you, God has the right one for you, and you're gonna know it. Let him love you first. That way you can recognize when the timing's right for the man that God has for you.
The other day I was asked, how does a godly man lead a godly woman in a God-centered relationship? And truthfully, I don't know. I'm not married and I'm not in my God-centered relationship yet. But God has been supplying me with wisdom and preparing me for when he calls me to lead a woman. Social media has created such a divide and confusion within relationships and within relationships that involve God being at the center that so many people really don't even understand what they're doing when they even get into it. A lot of people are looking at it like, wow, you know God, I know God, wow, let's just get together. And they don't even understand how much like actual work and dedication and hard conversations that takes. When you connect to anybody, when God surrounds you with any level of community where your friends have a relationship with Jesus just as much as you do, your flaws are going to get exposed. Your lowest moments are going to be shown to them before y'all can even have the most joyful, like, amazing memories made. God will bond you to your friends in that relationship through showing them who you are, because that requires a level of humility. Seeking God, having a relationship with God is not about our ego. It's not about being able to say, yeah, I walk with God. Look at the Christian aesthetic. It's not about that. And so many people get in relationships that they say are Christ-centered. And all they do is they take videos and pictures of them having a short little Bible study with their partner. God calls us to share our gifts, right? To produce fruit, to labor in ways that are diligent, in ways that please him, and allow our vessels to be used as an instrument to shine his light. So when you get with somebody, when you come together with a person, when you are striving to be one, right? That relationship is supposed to produce great fruit as well. A lot of people start losing sight of God in the relationship and they start idolizing their partner. So they start boasting and bragging about their partner, but there is no fruits to be shown. They ain't doing no work in the trenches with each other to even be saying that that is truly a God-centered relationship. So as a man that wants to lead a godly woman in a God-centered relationship, you first got to ask yourself this, right? Are you pouring into her? Are you inspiring her and motivating her to be better and to allow her light to shine to its fullest? Or are you more concerned with her just being submitted to you? Are you more concerned with her just being a godly woman to you because, wow, she's not in the streets running around. She ain't dressed like this. She ain't moving like that. She ain't out here embarrassing me. That's good enough. That woman needs to be cared about and watered just as much as you want to be cared about and watered. Don't quote me. I don't really feel like scrolling through the Bible right now. I've been doing that all day. Not a bad thing, but I'm just keeping it real with y'all. But in the Bible, I'm pretty sure it says that, husbands, love your wives as you love the church. A lot of men like to skip all over that, and they just want a woman that's just going to submit to them to make your ego feel good because you don't want your ego, your insecurities, your flaws to be exposed. But you need your flaws to be exposed. That way you can see if that's a woman that truly is going to love you for you and stand by you even on your lowest of days. Because behind closed doors, the closer y'all get, the more she going to see the real you. And you want a woman that's going to really rock with you and pray over you and speak life into you. You get what you put out, right? And it start with you, the man, because we was created first. So the action starts with you acting on it first. What's your purpose, bro? Do you have a vision? Do you have something that you were dedicated and will stand on no matter what, right? I'm not talking about just getting to your money and being rich, but what is your purpose, bro? What are you passionate about? What did God call you to do that nobody can ever take away from you no matter how low you get in life? Being a leader is not just about calling yourself a leader, right? It's not about being the loudest in the room or being the wisest in a conversation. Many times it's actually about being able to have that unwavering faith in God and unwavering faith in what God called you to do, your gifts, your talents, your abilities. For example, I'll use myself. If a woman comes into my life right now, right, I know my purpose, my vision, my dream, my passion, right, is to speak life into people, right? I want to travel around the world, standing on stages, speaking life into people, right? Creating as much as I can. That's something that's going to be ingrained and instilled in me no matter what. So the woman that comes into my life, she is not going to be able to shake me loose of that. That's that one thing, that purpose, that foundation that's deeply rooted in my seeking of God that nobody could break, no matter how discouraged I might get or how hard some days might get. I'm going to always be able to bounce back because it's just ingrained in my DNA. It's who I am. Now, if she comes into my life, I can't be a hypocrite, right? Because what I'm doing is a product of who I am, which means if I'm doing this for other people, random people, I have to be able to pour into her just as much as I do for others, right? And trust God that he is going to pour back into me through her, because he who finds a wife obtains great favor from the Lord. So a lot of men claim they want to be a leader and be in a God-centered relationship and try to figure out how to lead the woman, but a lot of times they don't be ready to be they don't be ready to be humble. They don't be ready to put their ego to the side, right? You want a woman that's going to boost your ego. But in the long run, right? In the long run, the goal is to be able to reflect on a woman that actually reflects on the love that you give her and the love that God has for both of you. Now, I'm talking to men first, but I know women are listening, right? Now, if you want to be a leader, you want to make sure that you and her are aligned in that relationship. Fast. Take it to God and go fast, right? Well, bro, how do I fast, right? You figure out what it is that you consistently consume that you consistently physically consume, like foods, right? Not, I'm going to fast from social media or whatever. Nah, you got to sacrifice your flesh. You got to put your flesh in check when you are fasting. Y'all figure out what foods, whatever y'all can sacrifice for a couple of days. And y'all spend time praying together, talking about life, goals, things that you want. You spending time praying for her and she's spending time praying for you. You go to God and you ask God, is this in his will for y'all, right? Is this something that will work? What does he want to accomplish with both of you? Because once you come out of that fast and you hear the voice of God together, y'all going to have such a dynamic confidence in each other and as individuals and in God that it's not going to be a lot of outside things that can really have a negative effect on y'all moving forward. That is one of the first things you should be doing as a man, is making sure that you're saying, hey, we need to make sure we keep God at the forefront of everything, right? At everything. Because if you don't, you're going to fall into feeding your flesh. You're going to fall into just enjoying it for surface level. And surface level is laying up and cuddling and going on dates and eating food and just spending money on each other. Do you have a goal of breaking a generational cycle, a generational curse in your life? And what does that look like for you as a man? What does it look like for her as a woman? Do y'all have the same desire to break those things? And does she desire to help you break that in your life? And do you desire to help her break that in her life? Because God is very intentional with how he puts anybody together, right? Because God shows grace. Even if one person has a stronger relationship with the Lord, right? It talks about this in Corinthians. He still shows grace to your partner because you have a relationship, a deeper relationship with Christ. Now, don't take this out of context and just think the person that you have a toxic relationship with, you just going to slap a ring on them and everything just going to get better. It don't work that way. Because if they deny Christ and they ain't with it, right? Y'all can definitely break apart. But if you're going to lead her, bro, you got to make sure you understand that you are being led by God first. And if you're not allowing yourself to be led by God first, how can you lead anybody else? How can you be a leader of men? How can you be a leader of women? How can you be a leader of children if you are not led by God? And I'm saying this to say that God is our firm foundation. And that when life gets hard, right, when we paying bills, when we hard working or whatever down the road, we got to think further ahead. What happens when you're 40 and maybe your job, right, lays you off and now you got to bounce back, but now you in a season where you trust in God. You still got to be firm for your family, for your children, right, which means you got to lean back on your foundation, which is prayer, fasting, and working with the gifts that God called you to work with. But if your foundation is not firm in God and you're not being led by him, then you're going to be led by your flesh. And then when your wife ain't really feeling you at some moment, you going to go cheat. You know what I'm saying? When you feel overwhelmed, you're going to be sitting in the car a little bit longer. Not praying and sitting in the car, right? But probably letting the enemy whisper in your ear. I'm not saying this stuff is easy, but I'm saying that I've seen the product of men not completely staying firm in their foundation with Christ. And it affects families deeply. So no, bro, it's not about just sitting down and reading the Bible and taking a picture and then the rest of the time y'all just feeding y'all flesh. No, like it is really about like purposely knowing that you have to be selfless and humble before you go into it with your ego. Now, if you want a woman that is just going to boost your ego, just go find a woman in the world. They everywhere. I'm not saying that your girl shouldn't hype you up and speak life into you and build up great confidence, right? Still be confident, bro. Like, you should want to be with a woman that makes you feel confident. But that stuff you don't have to worry about because your eyes are on God. And he's going to help you align with everything that he has for you. And even if it does fall off, right, that's protection. And God will bless you with something even better. But first, we got to make sure we right in our heart first. Then we can lead.
Sit back, relax, enjoy the clips. Unfiltered ministries. Welcome to Unfiltered Ministries. Beautiful family sharing the word. Forget the lies, forget what you heard. We spread the truth to set you free. Kingdom family, you and me.